Good morning. My name is Emma Biggs. I am a math resource teacher for Torrance Unified School District, formerly a high school math teacher at West High School. And I'm going to lead you through today some information about a lot of the Google applications that we use in Torrance Unified to assist students. Feel free to use the chat box to ask questions. Maybe you can answer each other's questions if I'm presenting. I will have a good open chance to ask questions near the end. But please let me know as we move along as best we can. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. I'm doing this all on my own today, so let's see how this goes. But I wanted to start with a little information, just basic overview, and then I'll walk you through a bunch of these different steps to keep you, to show you how it actually works for a student. So to access most of the Google applications, my suggestion is that you use the Google Chrome browser. So if you do not have that on your computer, or a tablet or a phone, again, I would make sure to download that. I personally use a Mac computer, and I don't use Safari, I use Google Chrome. It all will link together, so a very useful application within the Google suite that we use. To easily access most of the platforms that we use, I suggest you have students log in via Clevver or TUSD. Yesterday afternoon, I did a brief training on Clevver that is all available online on the TUSD webpage, and there was some information emailed to parents last night with the video recording, so you can see my lovely face. Those are the two websites that we would use consistently. So www.clevver.com/in/Torrance or www.etusd.org. And this is where we access all of the different Google applications. Yes, you can type in gmail.com and log in that way as well, but those two platforms are very easy ways to log in. Clevver is kind of like a dashboard. It might be like looking at your phone and all the applications that you have and just being able to push them and log in and not need to worry about a password. eTUSD is also just our internal learning management system that you can use to log in to devices. So Google Chrome, again, there are a couple ways to sign into Chrome. So if you have the application on your computer, my suggestion is that you do, again, log in and sign into Chrome by clicking on the icons here. Ooh, I think my toolbar is in the way. Clicking on the icons up at the top, you can see very clearly here there's like a little person one, or up here there's a person, and you can click on those and sign into Chrome. That will allow you or your students to have lots of different applications or ways, or kind of like they're already logged in. It makes it a little easier. And I'll show you what mine looks like in a minute, and you can see I have a bunch of different users in there so that my bookmarks are saved for me, and my sons are saved for him, and my daughters are saved for her on any device that they actually log into. And I have access to that on my own personal computer. So I do suggest you do that. So if you do click on the little person at the top and you sign into Chrome, your students can sign in as their Google, using their login information on there. So that would be one very easy way to get that, is just to click on that, and they log in with their own school information, which from my understanding was emailed out for new students, not emailed, mailed out in the mail a couple weeks ago. And if you don't have that information, again, my suggestion is that you contact the school that your child is registered at. That would be the best way to do that. I know that yesterday when I was giving the Clevver presentation, there was an issue with logins for new students, especially with Clevver. They have fixed that as of this morning, is what I understand. So you can, should be able to get on there much easier. I see that question in the chat box. But again, if you're still having trouble, check with your local school first. But I would suggest that you walk through the steps that happen to sign into Chrome to make things very easy for you and for your student, especially if you're sharing devices with all of their bookmarks saved. So again, these are the two websites that I suggest you use as kind of a landing page for students, or for students, I suggest students use as a landing page for logging into their devices, their experiences within our school. So two basic places to go. So if you use Clevver, once you are logged into Clevver, and again, that email was with all my directions on how to do that with the slides was emailed out yesterday, I believe, and it is also on the TUSD webpage. But when you log on to Clevver, you get a portal that kind of looks like this. Like I said, it's a landing page. It has lots of different things that you can scroll down. These are just, two quick screenshots. But again, you can push on the Google applications here, and it'll scroll you down to here. And you can see the different Google applications that are very easy to just push. So if a student just pushed Gmail, push Google Drive or Google Classroom, they open automatically, they've logged them in. It's a one login place instead of having to log in multiple times. Also, when you're in live and not a screenshot, there's a little heart that would pop up here if you scroll over it, and if you push that heart, it will move it to the favorite resources. You don't want it in your favorite resources anymore, you can push the heart again and it would go away. So again, one way is to log in through Clevver. Again, you can select the easy application over here to the side, and it'll scroll you down to the Google applications. The other way is to use eTUSD. So if you log into etusd.org, this is what a student page would look like logged into eTUSD. This happens to be a high school student, so you can see some West High courses here, and then you see some other resources. But the access to all of the email and Google devices is up here by pushing this menu, and there's a little drop-down menu that shows up, and you can see email, drive, calendar. So this would be a very easy place to access those pieces. Again, that's through the eTUSD platform, not the Clevver platform. So two different options will get you to the exact same place. So if we selected email, student email pops up like this. This, again, is a student at the high school, and you can see they have 2,169 unread emails. That's my nightmare right there. But this is where a lot of communication from teachers will happen, from the school, Google Classroom. My own two children would get assigned, they would get an email saying my assignment was returned and the assignment was assigned. So a lot of different communication comes through this Gmail account. For my own two children, I have access to their Gmail, and I check it to make sure they're on task. So pretty easy once you go in here. If they want to send an email to a teacher, they push compose, and they can start typing the teacher's name in there. Again, our emails in the district are our last name dot our first name at TUSD.org. Our student emails are the student ID number at etusd.org. So we can communicate internally this way. So on the Gmail application, when it's opened, there are these 9 little dots here in the corner. Those 9 little dots are our navigation to all of the different Google applications that are available. So if you click on these 9 little dots, a menu will pop up that looks like this. And this menu has links to all the different applications, and there's so many. This is just a screenshot. You can see this bar continues to go down. So we have access to all of the different kind of important ones that we're talking about. I don't know why that keeps doing that today. Whoa. So specifically, Google Meet. Our teachers have access to using Google Meet. Supposedly Google Meet is having a big update coming up here in the next month and a half. That will allow all sorts of different features that are available currently in Zoom. But this is a live instruction and meeting platform that students can engage with. So to log on to a Meet, they could click those 9 little dots at the corner and then click on the Meet button here, and this page would pop up. And this page backgrounds are different depending on which student you are or how it is set, it just changes. And a student would then push the join or start a meeting, a plus here. Students actually should only be able to join a meeting, not actually start a meeting here. But if they click join a meeting, this lovely box pops up and they would enter in the meeting code or the nickname that their teacher gave them and push continue, and it would open up a Google Meet platform. So they would enter that code in here. Sometimes it's the teacher's name. It's whatever the teacher's given them. Sometimes it's a long series of numbers, kind of like within Zoom. My own child, this is my daughter's classroom, her teacher had the Google Meet link up at the top, and she could just click on this, and that was one way to very easily access the Meet platform. So within Google Classroom, this was how my own child accessed her Google Meet. It was right there, and you can see the little code here is something kind of crazy. It wasn't the teacher's name, but just an idea so you can see what they look like. So what does Google Meet look like when it's in there? There's me. I took some screenshots yesterday with my mask on. But this is what a Google Meet would look like. This is just me in there, but you can see the controls down here at the bottom. So there's the microphone to mute and unmute yourself, and the video to turn on and off your video. This is where the chat feature would come up. If a student pushes this, the chat box opens up. And then there's a grid view that's coming out, so that kind of like in Zoom, we can see multiple faces at one time. That is the grid view. I had it turned off because it was just me. Over here is where we would push if we wanted to share our screen or present, if a student wanted to share that, and then turning on closed captioning over here. If you push these three little buttons along the side, these three little dots, Google seems to like their dots. They come in multiples of 3, 9, and 3. This menu pops up right here. Again, this would be a place if you were leaving a meeting that it could be recorded, and then changing the layout of how things look, going full screen, and some of the other settings. So that's kind of where our settings menu is in Google Meet. Again, students can actually only log on to Google Meet using their E2SD account. So they actually do need to be logged into their E2SD account, as I showed you in the beginning, or their Clevver account or their Google account, basically. So that's where creating their own Chrome browser for them to use is going to be super helpful for them. So one of the other applications that teachers use, and professionals, myself included, use is the Google Drive. I like to call it the file cabinet for digital work. I am a very organized person in most aspects, and I have all sorts of different folders, file folders, that I keep documents in. Again, Google Drive is going to be accessed. One way is to push those 9 dots that we would see in our Gmail, or if we're on Clevver, we could just push the Drive icon to log into it. But any individual using Google Drive, and I have a personal Google Drive, a Gmail account for my own stuff, it's not work related, that I could access as well, and I can create file folders and color code them and put things in them. Oops. And so this is just basically a file cabinet to put all of our stuff. There are drop-down menus over here to the side. So if you push the drop-down menu, you could see all those same folders here very easily. This is done again in the listing mode, is the view that we see right here. One of the ones I want you to point out to you is the classroom one. So if your student teacher is using Google Classroom, there will be applications in here or folders per each classroom. So this is my daughter's classroom account, and she has actually previous teachers in here. And she could click on one of these folders and open up all of the information from that classroom that the teacher had provided, including, again, what she used previous years. So all of her files, her assignments, they're all going to be saved within that classroom folder. So a couple views to look at Google Drive. I showed you this one over here. This is in the list view, and it is obtained by pushing the one that kind of looks like a list, the little icon here. This is more of a grid view, and that's pushed by pushing, happens by pushing the kind of grid view looking here. So depending on how you like to see things organized, if you want to kind of see a preview of what the document is, the grid view is great. If you want to just kind of see the list because students are naming them well, then the list is a great opportunity to view those. And again, I put the little icons here so you can see this correlates with the grid view. To get there, if you were in list view, you have to push the grid view. This icon over here correlates with the list view. So again, if you were in grid view and you wanted the list, you'd have to push the list view over here to the side. So again, think of Google Drive as that file cabinet of all of your work, all of the students' work, and how it's organized within there is really up to you, or in some cases disorganized within that piece. The classroom list here will actually be very helpful if a student is using Google Classroom, because all those files will go straight in there. Student and teacher using them, they'll be very organized in that place. I personally quite often use the search in my Drive and start typing in the name of things. You can also click recent. So when my children were losing documents during the spring, I would go to recent and go see if I could find them. On multiple occasions, my son believed his teacher deleted his assignment, and it was in the recent, he just hadn't turned it in correctly. So just a kind of quick place for you to go to kind of help them out and find them. You can also star documents in here if you want to make sure you can easily find them. There's the ability to push a star on them, and then they'll be here and starred. Kind of like important emails that we might push those in there, the star on them. Google has lots of other different applications that are available for students and teachers to use. So I showed you the 9 little dot menu earlier. This middle picture was the one I showed you. When I continued to scroll down, you keep seeing how many different applications are available there. So again, the primary ones that most students are using are Gmail, Classroom, Drive, Documents, Slides, maybe a calendar, Google Meet. I believe a lot of teachers are also using Google Forms. It's kind of like a survey tool, or they can use them for assessments and kind of check-ins. As a math teacher, I really love Jamboard. Jamboard's kind of like a big whiteboard that students can post on, that teachers can kind of assign something and then they can write on it like you would a whiteboard. A little hard with a device at home and without one of the pencils and touch screens, but it's kind of a great tool to kind of have engagement in there as well. So again, so many different applications. I've had students also use Lucidchart in the past. Clearly there's YouTube and photos. So all sorts of different applications that are available within Google. The couple I just wanted to kind of focus on really quickly though were Google Docs and Google Slides. I think those are going to be the two that most teachers are going to utilize with students. So this is a brand new Google Doc. It very much resembles the interaction that students and parents and all of us probably at some point have had with Word, Microsoft Word, with all of the different applications here. But this is a brand new document. We can name it whatever we want to. Maybe we're dating them, writing our names in them. There's the files, which is where we can also access a lot of the printing. What's great about Google Documents is they are automatically saved, so you don't typically get, unless your internet kapooies on you in these crazy rolling blackouts, you don't really have to worry about saving, which has been something that we've had to, I remember in college writing big papers and then all of a sudden I lost pages of them because I didn't push save. So Google Docs automatically saves them every couple seconds, I believe. So it's very easy. There's no save menu, but we can insert pictures. If we clicked on this, we can change formats of things. And again, it's just really a word processing document. All of the different font applications up here, and I'll open one of these, a couple of these here live in a moment. And finally, Google Slides. Google Slides is Google's version of PowerPoint. Again, automatically saving, which is awesome. There are so many different themes that students can choose. You can see I'm presenting here in Google Slides. You can go online and find presentation slides that are already have formats of cool backgrounds like this and import them. You can print them, download these as PDFs. There's all sorts of different variations to kind of access these tools. Again, you can insert videos and you can insert YouTube videos. There's all sorts of great things that students can do. I know that our digital online platform for elementary students is actually using Google Slides. That's their primary interaction. So it's a great place to kind of make sure we're familiar with Google Slides. So before I go to any questions, I am going to show you a couple of these tools that are out there. So give me 1 second. Oh, you know what, actually, before I do a reshare, I wanted to start by, up here on my browser, you should be able to see my beautiful Bitmoji. And I talked about this at the very beginning in Google Chrome, but you can log in as many different other people. So I said my own children were on here. I have lots of different accounts on here. So you can just push add, and if you push add, you can type in the name and just pick an image, push add, and you can create another profile on Google Chrome. Again, super helpful if you want to access your own child's account separate from your own. As I showed you here a moment ago, I have my own children on here so that you can see them. So again, I suggest you kind of go with, do that as well. So I'm gonna try to log in here as a student on a guest browser to kind of show you a couple of the things that are available to you. So I'm gonna log in using the Clevver login I showed you earlier. So clevver.com/in/Torrance. Again, if this is my computer, I'm probably going to bookmark that or make that my home page. And once we get to the Clevver login, as I kind of showed parents yesterday, we want to push login with Google. And then I'm going to put in the student's email address, which again is the student ID number at TUSD.org. Push next. And on the next page here, the password, which for students is going to be their student ID number plus 2 capital letters. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes. Those capital letters are distinct to each student. I couldn't tell you what they are for each student. Again, you should have gotten in the mail some login with that information. If not, please reach out to your school or once you get contact from a teacher for them. Oh, and maybe now there are 3 letters. I've only ever been told about 2. So here you go. Again, if you would like the Clevver extension, it will give you a very easy kind of login. It'll show up as a little extension up here and you can click on that and log in very quickly. But again, this one is hearted, so it's up here in the favorite. If I went down here and put a heart on here, it would show up as the top as well. So again, you can scroll to see all the different things on Clevver, the textbooks, research tools, coding, applications. If you want to quickly get to the Google applications, you can just push Google applications here on the side. And so if I click on Gmail here, it will log me straight in to this student's Gmail account. And we can see all of the emails that are here. This one, only 341. So you can see those applications here. And then of course, if I wanted to write an email, I would just push compose. Maybe still loading. Compose, and I could start typing in, you know, an email here and it would show up. Okay. Or I can, again, delete that, add emojis, add attachment files. This is great if you have a file on your computer that you want to attach. We can push attach files. Got it. So we can attach, there you go, wants me to attach some files from my desktop that would pop up. Okay. You can also insert links, so this is all great. Or you can even insert files from a Google Drive. So if you're trying to send something to a teacher, you can go in and insert files from your Google Drive, which is a great, easy way if that's where the documents have lived. So you can click on recent if it was something that recently was done, or you can upload files. So there's all sorts of different ways, and you would just click on it and say, yeah, I want to insert this file, and there you go. It's in there ready to send. Again, from the Gmail application, we can join a meeting. So if we clicked join a meeting, I could add in that Google Meet code. It would easily, quickly activate me in there. Also, sometimes in my own personal Gmail, I have a chat here that I can find people to chat with in different rooms. Here are those 9 little dots I talked about earlier. Again, our multiples of 3, where I can access Meet. And again, I would need some sort of code to use a meeting code. As you can see, this is a student account, so there's no start a meeting, just use a meeting code. So I'd have to enter in that meeting code that's given to me. Again, from this menu, I can also access my Google Drive here by clicking on that Google Drive icon. If you notice, in both Gmail and Google Drive, those 9 dots show up, okay, so that we can access those. You can see here the classroom folder is available at the top, and that will get in there. Again, here's the other drop-down menu. You can see if I clicked in classroom, here are some different folders. Maybe this first grade folder has other things. I haven't really checked this out. This isn't my account. But there's lots of different things in here. Oh, this looks like a bunch of homework that was uploaded. Okay, so different places to find things in here. Couple of questions from the chat box here. The Google Meet is one of the ways that teachers are hosting classes. We also have another platform through TUSD called Big Blue Button. So I'm not sure which teachers have a choice of which one to really use. There is an E2SD training on the calendar, I believe, for September 1st. So keep a lookout for that one. And then, of course, this would be a link to go to Google Classroom. Google Classroom training, the next elementary training is today at 1 o'clock, and I'll be doing that. And then there are 2 more trainings for middle school and high school. One is on the 20th, Thursday, and the other is on the 21st. So those are both emailed out to you. This Google Classroom has no classes here right now because the student hasn't joined a class, and the classes for last year were all archived, but we would see them listed here as an option available if those Google Classrooms were still active and not archived. So that would be one place to kind of go look for them there and access them. I was gonna, so again, from any of these locations, from my Drive, my Google Drive, or my Gmail, I can access those 9 dots, and I could open up a Google Doc. Again, a lot of them will open up and you can create your own one, or maybe one has been assigned. But if I create a blank Google Doc, we can open it and see what is available in here. So it automatically will, again, save things. But I can create a new one from here, a new Google Doc available to me. Or a lot of the other different ones. I can make copies of Google documents. So if I have something that somebody's teacher has given me and I want to make my own copy and start writing on it, I can push make a copy. There's the ability to download these as Word documents, PDFs. Those are the ones I typically end up using. And then I can also, again, print that. If I push page setup, this is where we can change the orientation of things, and then we can change the margins. This that's a very different one from Word. In my Word, page setup is under format, but here clearly it is actually under file. So that's one kind of important difference between the two. Here's where we find those undo buttons. Again, they're also up at the top, and a lot of the pasting ones. And again, I typically use a lot of the insert things. So here's where we can insert different things, tables, drawings, whatnot. And then I also have special characters and equations. As a math teacher, I love those things. So those are available to you as well. Or headers and footers and page numbers. Formatting, this is where we could put in all sorts of different, you can access all of the text, the text options available, paragraph styles, columns, whatnot. I think most of the other things that students would interact with were up here on the bottom. And again, if you scroll over them, they kind of tell you what they are. And again, there's a big drop-down menu of all sorts of different fonts that are available to students. So that's really Google Documents. Again, if I was writing up here and naming this new document, it would save it. And you can see it's going to say it's saving it to my Drive. I can check, I can move it to a different place in my Drive if I wanted to. Again, throughout those things, but it'll tell you last edit was seconds ago, and then it's saved in here, so you can see what's going on. If you push the share button, a student can share this with their teacher, for instance. So they could write in, you know, the teacher's email address and see it there. Oops, I think I might have really just shared it with myself. And when they do start typing in an email address, for instance, there's a way to write a message and notify the people this would be something, and then you would push send. And they can allow that person to be an editor of a document. They can say, I just want them to be able to comment and view. This is important. Editing would be great if you were working, if students were working in a group on a project. They want to make sure that other people are able to edit that document as well. Commenter, they're just able to insert comments to a document and not really actually edit it. And viewer, they can't really do anything but read the document, kind of like it was a PDF. There is a way, oh, they could also, oops, show you one more thing. There's also a way to copy a link so that we can take this link and we can copy the link, or if you click on here, we could copy the link and we can kind of do the exact same thing, and we can change the ability here. So instead of just sending an email from there, we can also copy a link or embed a link up to some document that has been created. So a couple different variations in there. If I had written something here, happy Tuesday, and I wanted to insert a comment, I could push the highlight here and this little plus sign pops up, and this is where I could say, write a comment, or a teacher might write a comment. I can push back at you and push comment, and it's there. And if I logged onto this as a teacher, I could also reply to this comment. I can reply to the others. I can even say, hey, so-and-so, I want you to read this document here and look at it. So lots of different ways to interact via Google Documents as well. Again, just as we transition, I'm gonna talk finally about Google Slides as the last kind of big one that I think we'll be using. Google's, so while that's opening up in the chat box, to log on to Clevver, it is their email address. You push login with Google. Again, you access Clevver by going to the website not enter, trying to put in the chat box here. You access Clevver. I don't know why this is not working. By typing in www.com /in/torrents. That would be the way you access, again, Clevver. Well, let me type here. Interesting. So again, this was that web address to access Clevver. And again, you do log in with their email address and Google. The other question in the chat box is the not seeing the icons of Google Doc or Google Slide. I'm not sure if that question is related to what's happening in Clevver or another, or within Gmail itself. So if you're not seeing them here, that's different. Clevver, they should be up there. Raz Kids and ST Math is going to be site specific to the school, so that will be a little different. So when I clicked on, backtrack here, when I clicked here on slides and I pushed this button, this window popped up. Here's all the old slides that this student has worked on some point. Again, I can open up one of these and look at what those look like. I can also see that there's a template gallery that I could go through, and I could pick different templates that are available here as well. Or I can just push a blank template. So if I push the blank template, again, it will open up a brand new slide presentation. Again, very similar to Google Slides. Again, there's a bunch of different themes here. So if I picked this theme, for instance, it's going to change what this looks like. And I can, again, create a title. It's kind of a lot of the work is done. I know my own children really love to put in huge pictures on here, which is fine as well. I have a bunch of different options of slides I can import or add here. So if I add a second slide, maybe I want to insert some sort of image. So I can upload one from my computer, I can find one in Drive, I can go to Photos, I can go to a URL code. This is actually how you put in a GIF if you wanted to put in a GIF. I Googled that yesterday. Or I can take one with my camera, I can search the web and say, I want a picture of Tuesday. And I can insert this picture of Tuesday onto my slide, and there it is. So again, insert is a great little tool to kind of just add things in here. Again, you can also insert videos. So they can be videos from Google Drive. You can search on YouTube. If you have the YouTube URL, you can put it in here. So I could say, again, I want a Tuesday video. And I can pick something that I wanted to put in here about Tuesday. And I don't even know what this is. And it would automatically put the video in here. What's great about Google Slides here is that I can actually like select when I want to start and end the video. I can edit these things. And I can change my position, I can make them bigger or smaller, whatnot. So not a great video, but that's how you would kind of edit those pieces in. Again, a lot of the file components are still the same. Again, we can still make a copy of the entire thing. We can download them as PDFs and move them around. We can change the page setup again. We can print them. Again, here's our undo redo under the edit button. Oops. There's different ways to view them. So we can go into present mode, which we can also do from right here. Okay. And I showed you the insert menu. There's ways to insert all sorts of different things. Audio files. So if a student recorded just their voice, you can insert charts and tables. And word art, there's all sorts of things. Again, there's still that comment option. So you could have my Tuesday here, and if I wanted to insert a comment, I could access it this way, and I could write a comment in just like we did on the Word document. There, you can delete slides, skip slides, change backgrounds. There's all sorts of different things. And all sorts of different menus up here pop up. So if you're in a picture, you can replace the image. If you double click on a picture, you can kind of shrink it a little bit and change a lot of those components as needed. So lots of different formatting options available, and the same goes with texts. So when I'm in a text box, I can click on the fonts and I can change the fonts, the size of the fonts, the colors of the font, a highlight color in the background of the font. And then there's even more options about all the different formattings available. One of the things that I know is used quite often in PowerPoint is the animation piece. So you can push insert animation. And again, you get an animation where, again, it can fade in on the click, or whatever the options are that are available to you. There's also slide transitions, just like in PowerPoint. So lots of different things that are available to you here within PowerPoint or Google Slides. And again, it's saving right there. I did say that I would show you also E2SD and just the quick login to E2SD. So this is the homepage for E2SD. So again, I'm going to log in as the student. I think I have to put in that part actually. Hold on. Again, it's the password is the username plus 2 letters, or in some case, somebody had 3. Oh, you know why? I didn't think I needed to put in the @E2SD part. There we go. And so again, here's logged into E2SD. And again, here is where I can access the email and my Drive or my calendar or any of those things here in terms of the Google Suite. Those are the main features here. Again, I wanted to show you on our TUSD account. If you go on to TUSD.org, which is typed in right here. A couple great features for you to look at are under the parents heading up here. So if I click on parents at the top, and I scroll down here, you can see the rest of the trainings for the rest of the week here, really, and into September, and the links to those. So again, you are in the Google Apps, Google Classroom. It's happening again tomorrow and no, today and Thursday and Friday. And then I'm going to redo Clevver again on Thursday. And then there's some E2SD training. So those are where those links actively live amongst your email as well. Here's all the emails that have gone out from the district, but a couple of the important ones to look at. Here's the parent information sessions and training. So there's that parent presentation that I actually gave, the Google Slides on Clevver. And then here's the video from yesterday's training in case you missed it. Also, I would suggest that you check out the educational resources for parents. I know this link here, the Educational Technology Resources and Help, takes you to a PDF that we worked creating in the spring with videos on how to use the different applications. So how to log on to Clevver, for instance. There's some information, a parent guide to Google Classroom, some more stuff on Google Meet, how you use the Notes app on a phone to make PDFs, which is great for Google Classroom. But there's so many different other information here at that link that's helpful, some information about textbooks and whatnot. So again, I got to that specific link by clicking the plus sign here on educational resources for parents on the TUSD.org/parents page. Right there. The other one I would suggest that you look at here is the technical troubleshooting guide for parents. So I'm going to open that up in a new tab there. I just did that by right-clicking. And this kind of goes over some recent information. Again, here's some basic, simple directions about logging on to Clevver and Google, like I talked about today, and a couple other ones. So again, some very easy resources available for you there. Back to, yep. Couple of the questions that came up in the chat box here. One is about insert. Again, to insert an image, you push insert and image. And again, I can search the web is one way. And I can find something that I want to insert, and I can just select it and then push insert. That's one way to just insert an image, and it should show up right there. I can also insert a video. So I can insert a video here. I can search for something by typing it in, and then find something here by video. I click on the video I want and I push select, and it'll go in there. That's one way to insert a video. Another way to insert a video would be to, if you already know the URL from YouTube, you can paste it right here. If you had a video in your Google Drive, you can search for it here. This folder, this Google Drive doesn't have any in them. So that's one way. The next question in the chat box is about, yes, if a student has accidentally deleted, I would check the recents. That would be where I would go. You can also check the trash. So along here on Google Drive at the bottom is the trash one. That would be where a lot of accidental deleted things go. So I would check the trash, and then I would also check the recent if a student thinks they accidentally deleted something. Those would be the two places that I would go first. The next question is about recording on Google Meet. I don't think students have the ability to record a Google Meet. I believe only the teacher has the ability to record a Google Meet at this point. So yes, and they may be recording it. I think that would be something to ask the teacher about recording those things. The question about a Google Doc, is there a way for a student to keep a copy of his or her original document before sending the document for editing? Great question. One thing that you could always do is just push make a copy. And if I push make a copy of a document here, it'll call it copy of, and then I would have the copy of the original document before I sent it into editing. So kind of a quick little way to do that. One thing with copies, and I didn't do it this time, is you can copy with comments or copy without comments. So I don't think my comment that I have in this first document will actually show up here, if I recall. Any other questions? Oh, I guess I didn't talk on Google Slides. There is a, kind of like PowerPoint, there's a place to take notes on the bottom. So if there was something we wanted to say about this happy dog video, we could put it down here so that we have some notes about it. Or maybe the teacher wants the student to put in a citation of where they found it or whatnot. This would be a place that we could keep notes for a Google document or a Google presentation. Yes, Jim, there is a place to view previous versions of documents. If you click on the last edit was made, you can go back. There would be a list where you can go back and see the previous versions of documents along the side here. So if I wanted the original, I could push restore this version and I could see that there. Cindy, I am not sure in regards to each class subject. I am at the secondary level, of course, there are typically different teachers, so they would have different meetings for different courses for each of those things. In terms of elementary, I'm not exactly sure what they're planning to do at this point. The person named Classroom, best virus protection. I'll be honest with you, I am a math teacher and not an IT person. And so I'm actually not sure what the best virus protection would be for a new tablet. I have a Mac myself, and I personally don't typically need a whole bunch of virus protection on my Mac. So I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question. If there are any other questions, we can put those in the chat box and I will gladly answer them. And if you have no questions, thank you for joining me this morning. I hope it was informative about all the Google applications that are available for students and that students will be using them throughout the school year. Again, if you're interested in Google Classroom training, I'm running a training this afternoon for elementary parents from 1 to 2:30, and then on Thursday from 1 to 2:30 for middle school and high school, and on Friday for middle school and high school from 9 o'clock to 10:30. And then again, all of those sessions will be recorded and put up online where I showed you on the TUSD website. So if you are busy and working, feel free to check out that TUSD website. It's going to have so many resources for you and available to you as parents, especially those links. Again, if you missed the Clevver presentation yesterday, it is recorded, as I said, up here, along with the slides. They're available to you as needed. If really, you probably already got kind of the basic Clevver overview today as well, but if you want to watch it, watch the first couple, 10, 15 minutes, and I think you've got it all. And then, again, eTUSD training will be in September. There is a follow-up question here about eTUSD and what it's mainly used for. eTUSD and Google Classroom are both platforms that teachers can use to post material. So, open up here. So eTUSD, some teachers, this student doesn't have a bunch of stuff here. Use this, and this is where they use this platform instead of Google Classroom. So it's just another platform available. I can show you here in 1 second. Give me a minute here. Gotta log out of here. Another student's eTUSD account. that might have more available to us as we go in. So give me a second to pull this up. So this is a different student's E2SD account. And you can see here there's other courses listed here. So if I clicked on this geometry one, this looks like the student had quizzes that they were taking here. There were learning target information, stations, worksheets, and classroom activities, and different assignments, and other things in here. So, and links to different pages. So it's kind of, again, a landing platform for a lot of different courses that students might be able or might be using. It also, again, has links for students and some of the other links to our resources that we have that are also available, again, via Clevver. Again, links to our digital textbooks are on here, but again, it's another variation. Either teachers are either using typically E2SD or Google Classroom to kind of have their landing pages for their courses. Marcus, in regards to this recording, my guess is I will probably start processing this as soon as I end this meeting today, and then I will get it to somebody to upload onto the website, hopefully this afternoon, this evening. And I can also, I know there was a request for some of the slides, so I can also get those slides up there. Any other questions out there? Good question, Sharon. Yes, teachers will let you know which platform they are going to be using. So be on the lookout for some information from them in the near future. Well, thank you again for joining me this morning. Jessica just asked one more question. I assume teachers will be emailing you so that you have access to or know which platform that we can, so I would make sure that you make sure your email is updated via PowerSchool. So PowerSchool has that opportunity or has that place. So yes, you want to make sure your email is completely updated within the PowerSchool app so that you know you're going to get those emails correctly. Your contact information. Right, well, I'm going to end this meeting. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And if you have other technology needs, please, again, check out that TUSD webpage to figure out where some of those resources are or when future trainings are. And again, thank you so much and have a great Tuesday.